Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
It's the After the Show podcast, precious.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the After the Show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get your skate every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
What up? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Hello, everybody. Hello, Kevin. Yeah.
Hello, Virginia. Are we going to talk in these crazy voices all day?
I could do it the entire podcast.
Me too. Kevin, you in?
It would blow my voice out. I'd have to take tomorrow off.
How long would it take?
He's got that bitch-ass voice.
I do. I was already feeling the...
I mean, would 5 minutes for the entire audience to bail on us?
That's a great experiment because we can actually go with the podcast and see when people tuned out.
It's an experiment. I wouldn't go with great.
Yeah, our goal is to try to lose audience.
It's more just to see what they will take.
Okay.
It's a novel concept. Nobody's doing it
torture.
in podcasting.
You're right. I mean, radio. Ask that radio guru guy. Our other shows
Talking like this the entire podcast.
Hello, everybody.
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't think it's working.
Not unless they're doing a jazz podcast. Got some emails here. We were talking about what professions get the best tips. And the list we had felt a little bunk and a little off. And the one thing you'd mentioned was OnlyFans. How much money people were making. You'd heard even Boynton Beach's very own Bad Baby, how she, made like $1 million in 6 hours, something like that?
She broke the record.
Yeah, there was a countdown clock to when she turned 18 and
Which
she became legal.
Doesn't feel right either.
Doesn't feel right, but a lot of dudes signed up for the content that would drop at the very second she turned 18. That included, I guess, all kinds of boobies and fun.
Oh, she was showing real flesh.
Oh,
and
yeah.
such, huh?
There might have
Didn't
even...
disappoint?
Was there any kind of a toy play of any sorts?
I didn't subscribe, but that's a great question. I'll look it up.
Because I think that's a big thing for the OnlyFans. A lot of women are going on there. They're not actually having sex with the person, but they do use the toys.
Okay.
You know.
Amber Rose doesn't even show the downstairs. She does weird stuff. She does foot stuff. She does boob stuff. You do not see her vagina on her OnlyFans, according to her.
It's crazy how much foot stuff is out there. There's got to be a larger percentage of people who are into feet, whatever that is. And I think they're afraid to talk about it because people look at you like you're a weirdo.
There is money to be made in foot stuff.
There is. Oh, my gosh.
This email said, just to let you know, OF ain't what it's cracked up to be. They take 20% of all earnings, including tips, and then at the end of the year, you get taxed on it as an independent contractor. Might be worth it just for building a fan base if you don't already have one. Which you guys already totally do, but you'd be better off distributing your foot videos independently and pocketing 100% of that cash.
Okay, we want to go on Footbook. Start our own little social media thing. Footbook, where feet can be just feet.
There's already got to be a foot.
There has to be a footbook.
No, I doubt it. I think...
You think we're on something here?
No, I think the book thing, trying to do any kind of social networking platform with book in it, I have a feeling that Facebook has gobbled all that up.
All right, then we'd have to do footfuck.com. Probably. And I'm sure, you know what?
Feels like that'd be taken,
Footfuck's
too.
taken, guys.
Feels like it would be.
There's a lot of competition out there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. That's where they are these days. It's tough. I saw that Facebook now has to ask permission to track your phone. I was getting some messages. I wonder where that was. There was some app that I went into yesterday. Maybe it's ESPN. That would be Disney. I think it was the ESPN app. And they're like, can we continue to track you even through other apps? I'm like, hell no. I'm like, why do I let you do that? Maybe while I use this one, but what, you want to track me all day long?
We have been.
Exactly. They have been. A lot of people didn't realize that, like myself, that they've actually been tracking you everywhere you go and everything you do. But now apparently there's I guess maybe been some kind of legal ruling where they've got to ask your permission to let you know specifically this is what we're going to do, and then can we do it?
Do you mind if we film you without you knowing? Press yes.
Yeah.
Maybe or yes.
We're definitely filming you.
Right. So you may start seeing those popping up. So I got that. Talking about TikTok or Trick Talk, my daughter was talking about how she wants to go get some water with chlorophyll added to it. I'm like, what? Apparently that's the latest TikTok thing. It's supposed to be able to take care of any skin problems, they say.
Any skin problem.
Yeah. Trick Talk.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we need to do is a segment, TikTok or Trick Talk, because, I was talking about that mosquito zapper.
Yep.
Earlier that my wife had showed me on Trick Talk, and the guy was like, this is just after 10 minutes. There's like 1 million mosquitoes in this thing. I'm like, that's what I need. I saw it. It spoke to me.
It looks so amazing when you see all the dead bugs inside the lamp that it supposedly just sucked in and killed. You're like, yes.
Do those old school lamps work though? Are they good, or is that why they're trying to get a different kind of lamp because they're shitty too?
All I know is my wife got something that's a big ass thing, and you have to go and get one of those tanks like you would hook up to a grill.
You have to get the propane, okay.
Yeah, and so she fills that up and puts it in the backyard, and I'm like, okay, well, this thing looks like a heavy duty, like we went all out, and they just run right to me. I don't know what it is. It seems to attract mosquitoes.
Huh?
More than anything else. Yeah, I got that thing, and we've had it cranked in the backyard, and it's not far from me. Where I sit, it's maybe 10 feet away, and if it doesn't work in a radius of 10 feet, what's the point? Would I have to sit on top of it?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so that did not work, and that looked like, I don't know what my wife spent on that or where we got that, but now she seems like she's reluctant because she bought something that's crap and doesn't work, so all I want is a $20 lamp.
I was going to ask you an awful adult question that maybe you know the answer to, and I want to kick my own ass for asking this, but how long does it take for you to get all your propane out of your tank? Do you know?
What?
If you're using your propane tank, when do you have to go get it restocked?
And is it a full-size tank or is it a mini tank?
I have no answers to any of your questions. I don't know.
Because this dude over here bought a mini tank, and it's hooked up to a table where he sits around with his friends and watches the fire. But it burned out really quick.
Yeah.
Because it's a mini tank, and because he had it going just nonstop.
First of all, wrong again, Virginia, as often. And the thing of it is, it has to be that size of a tank because it doesn't. That's the way it came. You can't get any other one to fit in there.
I think
so. She's kind of.
But they come bigger than that. That's not a regular propane tank size.
She's kind of taking shots at my tank.
Dude, I know about propane.
Yeah, you know about pain.
She's a pro at giving pain.
Yeah, a very, very drunk Virginia was trying to fix my fire pit a couple weeks ago.
I didn't try to fix it. I told you you're out of propane, and then you were like, "No, I'm not."
It went exactly like that.
Just like that, huh?
He argued with me that he definitely just got the tank, but when it makes that click, 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 and it won't go, that's because it's out of propane.
I would imagine that every different thing that uses propane uses it at a different rate. A grill's probably different than my mosquito zapper than your fire pit. So
for sure,
probably it's just all contingent on that.
You just look like you know about propane. I don't know.
Nah, no thing. And just to let you know that chlorophyll in the water, the doctors are skeptical. They're saying that chlorophyll from eating leafy greens is good for your skin, but who knows if that's what you're getting if you buy any of these supplements. So that was kind of like the latest thing. And I know, man, my daughter is a sucker for anything she's seeing on social media. Last night, she'd run out the TJ Maxx to get herself a $100 bracelet because they were saying they have these bracelets now at TJ Maxx, and so she has to have it and goes out and get it. I'm like, what a powerful marketing tool these things are for people like my daughter, who's 23. I mean, it's just like, I'm like, girl, you don't have to run out and get everything you see on TikTok.
Oh, I can jump and get lost in the Max.
Yes, I do, Daddy, because I have your credit card.
You don't have my credit card.
The Max is fun
Mom
to go.
gave it to me.
I like going shopping at TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
TJ, do you like TJ?
I do. I like TJ Maxx.
It's so fun. You go there to buy a shirt, and you end up leaving with a potted plant. It's just one of those weird.
I like TJ Maxx. I like HomeGoods. I do not like Marshalls. girls.
Oh man, HomeGoods is another place. I fucking love HomeGoods. It's so
HomeGoods,
fun.
you
Yeah.
can find all kinds of fun stuff
And
there.
there are so many hot girls shopping at HomeGoods. Holy
Oh, yeah?
shit.
Place to pick up the chicks.
The HomeGoods and Publix.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
You looking to
teaching
get
you
it
something.
wet?
Yeah, get it wet.
I know you stepped on a cat whisker this past weekend. Was it the one you wanted?
It was the wrong kind of cat, Virginia.
Aw.
I got an email here from Nick said, I know Jason doesn't care about the Academy Awards, but his new favorite movie, My Octopus Teacher, won for Best Documentary. It was a great movie. I loved it.
Wow.
Yeah, I did see that they did win an award when they were promoting it.
Best documentary? That's the king of shit mountain.
I stand by it. If you haven't seen it, I really recommend it. It's a little deep. It make you think, but it's
Okay.
good.
What does Jaybird think about the theory that squids and octopuses are actually aliens that crashed into the oceans millions of years ago and evolved to live here on Earth?
I think it's a very cool theory and philosophy that some people do really stick by.
That's why they are so much smarter than most invertebrate animals.
Yeah, they are smart, man. This octopus is super smart in this documentary.
Well, my question would be how did they get here? Like, what happened? They came in a spacecraft? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's a lot of people
And
think
if they did, then why don't they get out of the oceans and do something?
maybe they're at peace, dog. Maybe they love
They're
that.
like, we'll just stay here in the water and not do anything.
Maybe they love that water. Yeah, I don't personally think that's what's going
Yeah.
on, but I do think aliens are aquatic. I think they are in our oceans. I think they're in
Yeah.
our lakes. I think they're in all kind of bodies of water, and that's why they're able to hide.
Yeah.
I love talking this shit. Virginia just fell asleep, which is nice. It's kind of like when the baby goes to bed.
Right.
Don't make a noise.
Just put Virginia asleep and then peace and quiet.
Give me a little bottle of vodka. Lay me down.
You got so quiet. There was a sense of peace in the studio.
Well, I feel bad because I love to eat the hell out of octopus.
Yeah, because during
And
this,
every time you talk about it, I feel real guilty, and I can't watch this show.
I mean, there's one part where the octopus is fucking hugging him and putting his octopus head on his chest.
that's so
And,
sad.
it knows the dude. It knows. I know I said it's kind of a sad ending. It's actually a happy ending. It
Okay.
is. It's a happy ending.
Okay. Sad yet.
Sad but happy, but fuck, isn't that life?
Damn. Got deep.
Cody sent an email, said, my wife and I are headed to Savannah, Georgia in a couple of weeks, and I'd love to know some of the places that you and the Queen might recommend, Kev. We are in our mid-30s and up for just about anything, but particularly interested in local dives, ghost tours, outdoor activities, etc. How do we get that list that you're always talking about on the show? Before the podcast, I went in there to talk to Denny's, and I said, I got all these little things, these little maps on my phone for these different towns. In fact, I even put them in for all the South Florida towns because the other day my wife and I were at some random park we'd never been to drop my son off to play with some friends in Boca. And I'm like, well, what's nearby here? And I looked on my little map. I'm like, we got, got this here,
This,
Crazy
this,
Uncle
this, and
Mike's. And
this.
yeah, so it was kind of cool and it's handy even if you find yourself in South Florida at a place where you typically aren't. So I've been doing that, and I sent it to Denny's. It's like, yeah, it looks like I'm going to be able to post all these on our website.
Nice.
So we'll have Savannah, and there's Atlanta and Orlando and all the different towns in South Florida I got. And if there's a place that I don't have on my map yet, I go, dude, you got to put this on your map. I will. But yeah, so he'll be posting the Savannah up there, and I've been to Savannah many times. Got a bunch of cool little bars on there. And as far as the ghost tours, you'll find out. I don't have a particular name on that, but they are fun. They've got different graveyards to check out. There's a couple of different bars and restaurants that have a ghostly past. One hotel, the Marshall House, which was during, I think maybe it's Revolutionary War or Civil War. It served as a hospital.
I mean,
Okay.
prime ghost time period.
Yes, and you'll even see the Old Pink House restaurant is one place, and there's another place that is that one where you can go in at midnight, and they do a whole thing where you can get the EVPs, and it was a woman had, committed suicide there, and they found 6 British soldiers buried in the basement because it was right on the doorstep of a battlefield. That's mainly what happened. There was Revolutionary War stuff in Savannah.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, so if you love all that kind of stuff.
Keeping soldiers in the basement? That's crazy. I wonder if they were alive.
They were buried there. Yeah, they were buried, and they could tell from their buttons and whatnot. It was just they were soldiers, and they were commanders, and so they had died, and they buried them, and that was where the battlefield was. And then the house was built on top of it.
Oh.
And some say they still hear those unrested soldiers' sounds at night going bump in the night.
What?
He started really good.
Yeah.
And then just
Got
fell.
derailed.
You know what
pretty
happened?
fast.
I was taking over by spirit.
You tripped.
Fuck it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff there. So I'll get that to Denny's and get that posted up so you can go and check it out. I'll add to some other places. So hopefully that'll work. We'll see. We're going to try a little experiment there. So I can just say, hey, go check our website. We put that link up. Be easier. We got somebody here that actually does need to talk to Denny's about some stuff here. Got some weed-inspired questions
Sweet Denny's.
to deal with.
With his new haircut,
Looking like an accountant.
2/3 of the dirty hippies are no longer dirty hippies.
I know. It
Yeah, they
hurts.
cleaned up their act.
I'm on my own quest now.
Weird.
Okay. Here are the questions that we got here. We got to grind or not to grind? That is the question. My husband and I enjoy smoking pot on the weekends together from time to time, but he does something that drives me nuts when packing a bowl. We've debated this topic several times, so I'd like Denny's expert opinion on this to end the matter once and for all. I believe you should grind the pot, then smoke it, which increases the surface area and allows for a smoother hit. My husband believes you should use a large unbroken nugget to put into the bowl to burn, as he says it lasts longer. We end up packing 2 separate bowls as we can't agree on this matter. Save our marriage and our pot, Denny's. Should we grind or not?
That's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like 50-50 divide on that one.
Okay.
I personally grind. I think grinding's the only way to go.
Okay, you're a grinder.
Yeah, because it burns so much better. You get such more quality rips.
It's even.
Yeah, and it's easier to clean out in the post. So I can see the argument for like a giant nug, just throwing it in there, a dense,
Like a weed meatball.
Yeah, you just throw it in there and burn. But when you do that, when the fire goes around, it's only burning the outside. And then the outside becomes charcoaled, and then as you kind of poke it with the lighter a couple times to break it up a little bit, and you kind of just keep burning the outside of it, which is probably why you said it burns so much longer.
Yeah.
But I feel like you waste so much more. A lot of the smoke just goes in the air.
Okay.
Yeah, my boy don't say nothing.
With the grind one, the grind, you can take a rip, and I mean, you get the whole thing. No smoke's smoldering anymore.
Okay.
It's a little bit easier to control.
Chat room, pretty much everybody's saying, yeah, grind for sure.
Oh, the chat room loves grinding.
But I mean, people do it either way. It's just how you were, I guess, where you were raised when you were.
Yeah,
rolling joints.
tomato.
It seems like the grinder takes more time. Maybe the chunk person is like a little bit more lazy about it, and it's just like
She's trying to start a civil war with pot people, and they ain't gonna have it. No, be gone, witch. Be gone.
Also, Christy had a question for Denny's. As I was shopping the other day at Marshall's, I came across a king sheet set, and I noticed that it was infused with CBD. I got to thinking, is that total bullshit, or could there actually be some sort of benefit? It had promises on the packaging to relieve stress and anxiety and help you sleep and all that. Is this just an extreme marketing strategy since all things CBD are trendy right now, or could they be beneficial? I think they said the CBD was infused into the fibers of the cotton.
It is.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, you could go either way. It could be that CBD is just really hot right now, but they are putting it in everything. But the sheets, you could buy a spray, too, that you spray your current sheets with. It's like a CBD spray. I think there is calming properties to it. I mean, it goes transdermally, I guess. So while you lay there, you heat it up, it probably just absorbs.
But CBD is way hot right now.
But is it going to be in there after you wash your sheets?
I think it's only good for a couple washes. I think it's a limited, it's a finite number. But that's why I think you can then rewash it in the CBD stuff. It's got like a spray that you can spray on it.
Oh.
But yeah, I think you have to keep applying that after a certain amount of washes.
Are you allowed to spray that spray on your children?
I bet you could spray that on anything.
Calm their little asses down.
Just don't do it in front of authorities.
Check. Got it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Denny's.
Yeah.
Home run,
For your
Josh.
expert opinions.
You'll be seeing a lot of CBD stuff. Pretty much everything's gonna have it in it.
It's way hot right now.
It
You
is.
down with CBD?
Oh, you all know me.
Thanks, Denny.
Yes.
Got some people looking for some advice here. This email says, I've been married for almost 14 years and I recently found Pornhub on my man's phone. Since then, I just look at him in disgust. Am I overreacting about this? I feel like it's cheating when guys masturbate to other girls.
He's not cheating. It's just porn. A lot of guys look at porn. I mean, do you want him to look at porn secretly, or do you want him to tell you that he's just looking at porn every now and then?
Well, I think,
You're going to create a guy who does it in secret.
Yeah. Well, and I think, for women and men, you just have to accept the fact that we're wired differently, and you can't completely relate because guys are based on the physical, and these are things that they've studied, and it's proven that guys, it's about the sight. And women, it's more of an emotional attachment typically. Now, there are always exceptions.
I want to say, though, I think that was old school. I think things are changing because of how prevalent porn is. As a society, we are desensitized from the stuff we have seen. And I feel like women especially have done an increase of being more open and more sexual and more honest about the things that they're into. And I think that goes with watching more porn, it being so wide accepted now, kind of like even the weed stuff. You just are seeing more people being open. I think women are just about as freaky as men are. I really do.
Yeah, and the statement is not about who's freaky. It's just saying that as far as like your internal wiring and what makes you connected and kind of gets stimulation going, is that typically guys are stimulated easier through visual, and women, it's kind of a little bit more of a complex stew. Is what I had seen.
But as a woman and as a wife and as a partner, just know that you might need to adjust your thinking a little bit of how you're looking at it. Porn is not cheating. Those are not the same, and you should not be upset as you would be about cheating about your man looking at porn.
Well, I wonder
it's just not the same.
What if you caught him masturbating and you said, "Who are you thinking about?" And he tells you who you're thinking about. Where does it? Where does it end, I guess?
And the reason why I say the emotional versus the physical is it sounds to me like to her, like having sex, anything sexual is maybe more of an emotional and intimate connection. And, for some guys, there's not, it's just, look, they're looking to drop, a load and get out and, move on. And it's not like they have any kind of connection or they have any kind of feeling with the target of their fantasy.
I do think, though, not to prolong the conversation, a lot of women do that too, man. A lot of women are visual these days because of what's going on.
Okay, maybe they rewired their brains. I haven't seen the studies.
I think you're right to a certain extent, but I do think that is changing and it's changing rapidly.
Kevin ain't been in that game for a while. He's all married up.
I'm just going on what I got to read about sex. I can't actually perform it.
I feel like women can be quite sexual.
No doubt.
With their, it's not just men looking at porn these days. Women use porn on their own
I'm
a lot.
not saying
to
that at all.
stimulate.
I know women do watch a lot of porn, no doubt. It is a big industry.
I like when we talk about porn, though, Kev.
Well, it's wherever the emails take me. Sophia here had said, my boyfriend's dad has been staying at our house because we have been finding work for him. He is over 50 years old, has no job, no savings, and is overall pathetic. He brags about how during his divorce with my boyfriend's mom, it was a blessing for her to have to pay for his mortgage and $500 truck payment. He brings his dog who has fleas and pees all over my house. He asks for money, eats our food, uses our electric, and leaves my house a mess. There's no work coming up, so I want him to leave. How do I go about it?
Ooh.
I love how Virginia, every time you have
Fleas and peas? I mean, that is a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I think you just got to talk to your boyfriend. Hopefully there's respect and appreciation in your relationship and say, look, this guy is bringing in a lot of, we need to limit and put a boundary about how he's coming to see us. Here are the problems that I have. Not saying you can't see your dad, but all these kind of issues, like I don't really want the dog here. I don't want this. I don't want that. So just let him know. Be like, hey, You can't bring the dog. The dog's got to either stay outside, and if you can't do that, then don't bring the damn dog.
And if you don't have animals, you can just totally say, look, it's not about your dog. It's that we don't have animals. We have allergies.
Yeah. I mean, you live there too, so there's got to be mutual respect. If you're in a relationship and you're sharing an abode, you have to have respect for the other person that lives under that roof. And if they don't have any respect for you, then get the fuck out of that relationship.
How often would you guys say you fight? For example, over under 10 fights per year with you and Panda and you and the Queen?
Oh, under.
Under? Oh, that's good. So less than. So there's some months you guys don't even fight then.
Oh, definitely.
What about you, Kev? Do you guys fight a lot?
I think we used to have more disagreements. I think now I kind of know how to sidestep them and try to get the end result in a more effective way. And so, it's not too often. I mean, she's a passionate person. And so, yeah, we do have, some heated exchanges.
Boy, you're just surrounded by a lot of passion, aren't you?
Oh, I am. So much passion. That's why I got to be this way. If I were passionate too, I'd blow up if a passionate person stepped into my body, everything would be blown up in a day. My marriage, my job, everything would just be like kaboom.
Everywhere you go, man, there's passion all over you.
So if that same passion were in this body, oh, yeah, I would lay waste to everything that I have right now structurally in my life in about an afternoon. So, yeah, we thankfully are in a place where, for the most part, we minimize it. But, yeah, I try to pick my battles. Maybe once a month.
I'm always curious just to hear how, because every couple's different. I think back to my mom and dad, how often they fought. I always like to see what's kind of the normal of where you should be.
I would say maybe about, there are other things that I want. I try other ways. I'm usually pretty tactful being able to go around about getting some things done. And then maybe there's about a once a month or once a quarter kind of thing every 3 months where, yeah, I will kind of stand my ground on stuff. And it's kind of interesting because typically I think after my wife has time to process it, she'll come back to me and she'll be like, look, he doesn't do this often. And so she'll be like, okay, here, let's maybe try this.
When you do a stand your ground kind of move, you're like,
yeah.
Fuck this. I'm putting my foot down.
Yeah.
How long is the weirdness between you two? Does it last for a couple days? Is it a week?
Well, usually what I do is because it can continue on and I don't allow it. I just say, look, here's how I feel about this. I'm not changing on this. I strongly feel this way about this. I don't want to keep fighting about it. You know my position. There's no reason to keep going over it. Here's how I feel about it. I know how you feel, but this is a big deal to me. I'm going to leave it at that. And we're going to walk away. And you know how I feel, and I know how you feel. So she's usually the one she's a slow processor. She will stew on things for a while, work it over in her head. For me, I need, give me a minute to process this and think it through. But I usually come back with a response a little bit sooner. And I try to be thoughtful and considerate. Say, okay, let me consider it. I don't love it on your first pitch, but...
Marriage is about compromise, Jay Byrne. And here's the thing about marriage. You got to give up half your soul to make it stay intact.
I mean, it does sound like a hoot. I'm not going to lie.
It does. The one thing I will tell you about marriage, it does teach you how to compromise and how to work through things, which I've found that it's an exercise you have to do in marriage that it lends itself to business and other forms of life, friendships, relationships, and things like that.
It teaches you how to surrender gracefully.
Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
I want to be so happy.
Yeah, but I think marriage has helped me in other places in life by learning how to negotiate and try to compromise and find ways around it. So
I like hearing all this stuff.
Yeah,
it's I like talking to you prisoners.
You're like Justin Bieber, who came in for the day to sing us a shitty song and leave.
I'm so lonely.
Can we get this kid out of here, please?
I'm over here just laughing and having a good time in life.
You get to leave jail.
Got an anonymous email from somebody who works in law enforcement. So my coworker had a call the other day where somebody in not the nicest area saw a bike that got stolen from them at a pawn shop. The bike didn't fully match the description and serial number that he gave, so we couldn't get the bike from the store owner because of that. My coworker took it upon herself to buy the bike for him from the pawn shop with her own money. It was $150. Now, afterwards, my supervisor is asking the shift to contribute to the $150, but there's only myself and one other person on the shift. It was a very kind and thoughtful gesture, but we aren't sure if our supervisor should be making us feel obligated to offset the cost of the bike and pay her back. Curious on your thoughts. FYI, my supervisor is trying to get promoted, so that's why we believe he's doing this. Yeah, I mean, if somebody does something kind, then that's their choice to make that gesture. You shouldn't ever be obligated or guilted into kindness.
No, because everybody's got a different financial situation.
Yeah.
And maybe your coworker could afford to buy the bike, and so she did. But maybe you got bills and you don't have that extra scratch.
Right.
They can always throw it out there and say, hey, anybody who wants to contribute, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. Then they need to drop it at that. There should be no supervisor pressuring you.
Right. Yeah, so I see what you're saying there. And, I think you can respectfully say, hey, look, I'm not compelled to contribute to this. I'm glad that they did. But, I save my money for what compels me. And
charity's a choice.
Right, it is.
If you don't want to give, you don't have to give, and your job shouldn't make you feel guilty.
Right.
You're forced to give charity.
It's like, whoa.
That ain't cool.
You guys are missing the concept.
Mm-hmm. Brianna sent an email, said, hey, I just listened to your ATS podcast from 420, and I heard the 20-page email from one of your listeners essentially complaining about how distasteful it was of you to dare discuss racial topics, including racial terms we may not have known, etc. I'm a black female. I was not in any way offended by the segment or your multiple attempts to bring more awareness and get conversation going about the topic of race. If we don't talk about it, how can we hope to even one day come together as one nation, understanding each other? I say ignore them and keep up with some of the harder topics. They can go listen to Mo and Sally.
That email wasn't received very well for, I would say, majority of our audience.
Yeah. Well, and somebody else had asked, did they actually respond to your email and give you, because I had sent them a response that said, well, what kind of topics would you think would be right for me to bring up? And then, yeah, they never responded. So who knows? So there you go.
You're just a man out here trying to do something good in this world. Keep your head up, Ralston.
I think Kevin needs to masturbate more.
You do? Okay.
We need to get you an OnlyFans account, though, because if you're going to masturbate, at least we can make money off of it.
Isn't that what I said last week? I go, Kevin, you need to masturbate more.
He did. That's what I'm like saying. That's 2 in a week.
And then you go, okay.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you all very much for all the emails that you send in here. Give us something to talk about. mail@kvjshow.com, mail@kvjshow.com. Always love to get your feedback. We do every single day to everything we do here on the show. You guys have a great one. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.